Hi, how is everybody tonight? Welcome to Fabulously Fun Trips. I'm your host, Greta Smith, owner of Savvy Travel Design, where I plan fabulously fun trips for my clients to enjoy with their favorite people. Here on the show, I introduce you to my reps from my favorite travel companies to help you learn what makes each one special and to let you ask your own questions. So please feel free to type any questions into the comments at any time, and we'll circle back around for Q&A at the end. I'm so excited to introduce you this evening to Amanda O'Connell. She's my local Brendan Vacations representative and my Ireland and Scotland expert. Let me pull her up here. Oh, there's
Hey, everybody.
Hey there. Good to see you. So we are so excited to talk about Brendan Vacations tonight. Ireland and Scotland, really great trips. She's going to give us lots of information, and she's going to have some fun with it too. Ireland, Amanda, I cannot wait to go. I'm so excited, and I've had a lot of people inquiring about it this year. So can you tell me a little bit more about Brendan Vacations and what makes them special?
Of course, and I'm right there with you. Ireland is one of my absolutely favorite destinations. So I've been to over 26 countries, and it is easily top 5 for me. And anyone can enjoy it, from families to singles to couples to friends. It really is such a welcoming nation. And I will tell you, everything they say about the Irish locals is true. They are so chatty. They want to be your friends. They want to show you the best of their towns. And I love Brendan Vacations because we really try to connect you with local cultures, the destination, and its people. So just to give you a little bit of background about Brendan, we have been around for 50 years. We are a family-run company, and all we do is Ireland and Scotland. So we are your Celtic experts. And as I mentioned before, we are all about connecting you to the culture, making sure you're seeing all of those great iconic sites. And we love to introduce you to locals because I don't know about you, but whenever I go to a new city, it's always nice when you have a friend or a family member showing you around all their favorite spots. And that's how it is when you travel with Brendan, whether you're by yourself or with a guide. We want to make sure you're seeing the best of the best and seeing it from a local's perspective and not just your average traveler.
That's fantastic. I love working with Brendan. You guys do such a great job of making my clients' travel dreams come true and really showing them the inner workings of Ireland and Scotland, the stuff that people really want to see. So can you tell us a little bit more about how Brendan structures travel experiences, the types of travel that you do?
Sure. So I'm going to share my screen a little bit with you guys so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Alrighty, so again, we do anything with a kilt. We're Ireland and Scotland, and as you just pointed out, Greta, we want to make it seamless for you as an agent and your guests. So we work closely with Greta and travel agents, making sure that we're planning the best vacations for you to Ireland and Scotland. And we really do have something for everyone. So we have 5 different travel styles. So no matter how you have envisioned how you want to see Ireland and Scotland, we have something that Greta can put together for you. So the first thing that we do guided vacations. So this is your motor coach tour where you're going to be with a group of people. It is a smaller group of people now that it's post-COVID. But we do everything seamlessly for you. Where you have to do is pack your bag and get to Ireland, and we take care of everything from your hotels to your transportation to your iconic sightseeing. And we have some amazing meals planned for you. And you do have a wonderful travel director who's like your best friend in destination, making sure that everything goes smoothly, that you're never even having to wait for a hotel room or access to the Guinness storehouse. All of that your travel director takes care of for you. But I am seeing that, independent travel is going to be really big for next year. So when I say that, we have 4 different travel styles for you there. We do have a private chauffeur option. So maybe driving around Ireland is a little bit intimidating for you. You do have to drive on the other side of the road. So with private chauffeur, you do have a private chauffeur driving you from step to step, and you have your hotel. And I'm sorry, Greta, my dog's barking. We talked that this might happen. So with the private chauffeur, you still have your own set of hotels that you get to choose. And you also have sightseeing, but it's based on whatever you guys want to plan. So if you want food tours, if you want to go and do a guided tour of the Ring of Kerry, those are options for you. We also have self-drive options. So a lot of people, this is a very safe country that you can go explore on your own. So we have a luxury self-drive option, which means any of those optionals you're doing, like food tours, or maybe you're going to the sheep herding, dog demonstration in the countryside. Everything's going to be private for you. Or you could do regular self-drive. So if you did join a food tour, there might be some other people on it, which is great. You're meeting new people while you're traveling, which is one of my favorites when I travel. But again, everything is customized to you, from if you want to stay in a 3-star hotel, you want to stay in a castle, do you want to stay in B&Bs? All of that is totally up to you, and we can do whatever pace you want. And then last but not least is our locally hosted rail. So again, maybe you are not into driving around Ireland yourself and you don't really want a private chauffeur. We have locally hosted rail. So what this looks like is that you are going to get to the train station, and it's up to you as an independent traveler to get on the train. We bring you to your next destination. And the reason why it's locally hosted is that when you get into a new city, such as maybe you took the train from Dublin to Galway, we have a local meet up with you that day, your first day while you're in the new destination, such as Galway, and they go over whatever you want to know. So maybe you're a foodie. Hey, I want to know where the best restaurants are. Is there a food market I should visit? And they will make everything custom to you. It's, again, like having that best friend in destination, giving you all the tips of what you need to see, what you need to do, and what the best is of that area. So as you can see, no matter how you want to travel, you can travel with us, and we'll make it happen.
Thank you. That's awesome. There's a lot of options, and I feel like that gives something for everyone. There's a version of travel there that will work for everybody.
Exactly. And with your help, it's all seamless for our customers, which is really great. They don't have to worry about how do I fly there? What hotel should I stay at? We take care of it all for them.
Right? That's the goal. We make it easy, right?
That's right.
So I think now would be a great time to give us some travel inspiration. I think we've all been, sitting at home, and some of us have been twiddling our thumbs anxiously waiting for things to open back up. So I'd love to hear about some of the special experiences that Brendan can arrange in destination.
Yes, of course. So again, Ireland and Scotland are some of my favorite destinations because of all the amazing things that you can do. And it's so unique, it's so safe and welcoming. So some of the things that I think really make Brendan and Ireland special, as well as Scotland, is some of the hotels that you guys are going to be able to stay at. And in particular, I love staying in a castle. I want to feel like royalty. So we have a whole collection of castles and manors to make you feel like royalty when you're traveling with us. And these grounds, they're absolutely beautiful. We do have Drummelin Castle. We have Ashford Castle, which I'm going to touch base with, which was actually the summer home of the Guinness family. So that's a fun fact for you. And Scotland also has hundreds of castles as well. So we can even put you at St. Andrews in Scotland, and you can stay at the hotel right there. So it's really great if you want some really interesting accommodations while you are abroad. And I can't talk enough about how beautiful Ireland and Scotland is. And I will tell you, you will see sheep everywhere. And it's part of the fun. So we do some amazing sightseeing as far as outside of the major cities. I highly recommend doing the Ring of Kerry, which is a nice drive that you can do on your own, or we do have guided options for that as well. Again, if you don't want to be driving on the other side of the road. Other things that I highly recommend are the Cliffs of Moher. This is a bucket list item. They're absolutely dramatic and beautiful, and there even are you can do a boat tour around there as well. and see some Harry Potter filming sites. So if I have any Harry Potter fans there. So really, it's a great countryside. I love driving from point to point myself. I did my own self-drive tour about a year or two ago now. And it was really great because I drove all the way from Dublin up to Northern Ireland, all the way down to Blarney Castle, the Rock of Cashel, Galway. I will tell you, one of my favorite towns that you have to visit is Dingle. This little fisherman village. It's very quaint. Everything is in walking distance, and the pubs are absolutely amazing with, Irish folklore and singing and dancing at every single one. And it is well known for their gin. So I highly recommend you checking out the gin at Dingle. So besides the countryside and some amazing hotels that you can stay in, I also love the unique experiences that you can do. Because, everybody goes and kisses the Blarney Stone, but I want you guys to do something really cool and authentic. So this is falconry at Ashford Castle. And I absolutely loved this experience. I did it myself. So you get to meet with, these are actually red-tailed hawks, which are really cool. And the handler comes and you guys get to put on the glove, and it tells you all the information about what you're going to be doing for that day. And essentially what you're doing is you get to walk through the woods and the forest, and they tell you all these really amazing animal facts about the hawks. And with the glove, you put a little bit of meat in there, and every time you lift your hand up, that is when the falcon will come and swoop in and grab it from you. So it's really cool because you're walking through the forest and you just see them kind of flying around, hopping from tree to tree, just waiting for you to feed them. And it really was an amazing experience. And I know the kids love it, adults love it. It's definitely one of those bucket list items I highly recommend. And again, you're at a castle, so you're feeling like you're part of royalty while you're there. Now, I will say one of my favorite parts of Ireland, and I think it's completely underrated, is Northern Ireland. So that's where the Giant's Causeway is. If you remember that slide with all the travel styles and those big basilic columns, that is Giant's Causeway. So it's a really great area. You can do the hiking through the basalt columns, or there's some trails up on the cliffs so you can see it from above as well. And this gentleman right here is named Mark, and I've met Mark on two occasions now. Every time I go to Giant's Causeway, he is my guide, and he is amazing. He tells you the folklore behind how the columns were made, and they were made by a giant. And I'll let you guys hear that story yourself when you go and visit Northern Ireland. But Mark is just one of those locals who has the gift of gab, and he wants to show you the best of the best. So he does a little guided walk through the causeway. You do have some free time to take your own Instagram worthy photos, but please do not miss Giant's Causeway. And right down the street from it, 10-15 minutes, there's Bushmills Distillery. So if I have any Irish whiskey fans, you can, after doing that long hike, you can go have a drink there. Or I highly recommend going to the castle there. That's Dunluce Castle. It was a filming spot for Game of Thrones. There's a lot of Game of Thrones stuff in Ireland, if you guys didn't know. And Dunluce Castle is absolutely amazing. It's an ancient castle in the ruins. And again, just one of those picture perfect spots that you can brag to all your friends about the amazing time you're having in Ireland. Speaking of Game of Thrones, we do have some really great experiences. I was able to do this one as well. So we go to Winterfell Castle. And what we do there is you get to see how they CGI'd everything to make it into Winterfell, if you're familiar with the show. And you get to do some fun interactive things like axe throwing and archery. And I will tell you, I am much better at archery than axe throwing. It does take a little bit of skill. And I think I mentioned it before, but I really love food when I travel, and I hope you guys are the same way. And I think Ireland is an underrated food destination because I think everyone thinks like, I don't know, the UK, fish and chips, the corned beef and sauerkraut and potatoes, and it is so much more. Galway is an amazing little city. Where she is actually being photographed is in this pedestrian-only area of the city. So there's tons of pubs, restaurants, shopping. You'll hear Irish music being played on the streets. Lots of street performers. It kind of reminds me a little bit of New Orleans. but it smells better and it's much prettier in my opinion. But I love Galway, and the best way to see Galway is through food. So she takes you from stop to stop. You guys are going to try some Irish specialties, and maybe explore some new cuisine as well. So Sheena is really great. Again, this is a local, this is your best friend taking you and saying, hey, you have to try this. You have to go to this restaurant. This pub has the best pint of Guinness, and so on. So it's really a very popular for our customers. And I haven't talked too much about Scotland yet. So I absolutely love Scotland too. And I haven't been able to go there, but that is on my list for next year. This is a great destination. We do a big combined effort with the different distilleries. So you have to try some Scotch whiskey while you are in Scotland. This one in particular is in Edinburgh. But we do have these distillery or brewery tours throughout both Ireland and Scotland. So when you are in Dublin, you're going to be able to do Guinness Storehouse. We do a VIP tour there. You can check out Teeling Distillery, which is one of the newest and most popular distilleries in Dublin. It's actually the only working one in Dublin. If you go to Jameson, that is just kind of like a storefront. They don't actually make the Jameson there. So between Scotland and Ireland, if you do like to have a pint or a drink, definitely try the amazing different spirits that they have there. And I love Edinburgh, so I'm going to talk about it a little bit more. So Edinburgh is this ancient city. There is Edinburgh Castle there. Maybe you've heard of the Military Tattoo, which is this amazing festival that happens all of August. It's like a big military parade in the castle. And they have fireworks going every night. So if you do go in August, I highly recommend. You have to go to the Military Tattoo in Edinburgh. But there's also some unique things that we do there, like the Doomed and Dead Buried walking tour. So this is actually a ghost tour, and they bring you to the graveyard, and there's even some underground vaults that you get to explore. So there's a lot of spooky history here, some folklore, and it's something different that I think really makes Edinburgh stand out. And other things that I would like to point out for Scotland in general, we do go up and see the Lochs, the Isle of Man. I talked about St. Andrews a little bit. So if you want to see the Highlands, we have some amazing options there, whether, again, guided, self-drive. Maybe I have some fans of the show Outlander. We do have a little Outlander tour. Maybe we'll introduce you to Jamie while we're there. But either way, Scotland is definitely up there, and you must check it out, especially if you're flying all the way over to Ireland. Let's see both at the same time. And we're going back to Northern Ireland. I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely loved the movie Titanic. It still makes me cry every time. And your fun fact of the day is Titanic was actually built in Belfast. So it's really funny. You might see some people wearing these shirts that say the Titanic was fine when it left Belfast. So I always got a big kick out of that. So you got to check out the Titanic Museum while you're there. It's very moving. It was one of the top tourist exhibits that you had to visit while you're abroad in Europe. So it was #1 of the must-see, must-do list for things to see or do in Europe. So definitely check that out. And Belfast in general is an amazing, underrated city. If you go to the Cathedral Quarter, they have lots of pubs. Again, the live music, you're sensing a theme here when it comes to Ireland and Scotland. But in Belfast, you have to check them out. I suggest the Duke of York or the Dark Horse Tavern, which when you go into their courtyard, it has all of these Irish murals everywhere of pop culture. So it's really cool. And also while you're in Belfast, you know, I'm sure we've all heard of the conflict that happened in the past between Northern and Main Ireland. And they have some very moving street art and murals there. And we have some local specialists like Dee, who again shows you around Belfast, and she's telling you the stories of the conflict. And she grew up in this time. So she's telling you how her family actually had to move because it was occupied and it wasn't, you know, safe for her to be there. So hearing those stories right from a local's mouth, I think really carries the experience that you have and makes it much better and resonates. Back to you.
Hey, I'm back. So thank you so much for sharing all that great insight. There's some really, really fun things. Personally, I think staying in a castle would be amazing. But I definitely think I would be fighting with my husband for time because he would be so down with the Game of Thrones and the whiskey tours and the ghost tour. So up his alley. I think he'd love that. So we'd definitely be like, okay, you get this and I get the castle. Like,
That's right. I'll do the castle stay. We'll do the falconry. Then the next day we can go try out some whiskey, or we can bring the kids and do the archery, because, all of these things are, besides the drinking part, are very family friendly. We even have one thing for the kids that we do on one of our guided tours where they go looking for the last living leprechaun. So very cool stuff.
I love that. That's so fun. So I do have a quick question for you. As far as one of the biggest questions I'm getting right now is how is wellness being addressed as far as like sanitizing and all of this that's happening right now with COVID. First of all, I know Ireland right now there's a quarantine at the moment, right? They're doing if you arrive
Yes.
the quarantine. So it's not unless you've got like a month. It's we're looking at trips a little further down the road, like into 2021 till things open up. Does that seem reasonable?
Definitely seems reasonable. I'm expecting springtime for tourism to bounce back for Ireland, and in general, Ireland and Scotland were really good about the response with COVID this year. So they really buckled down and made sure that they were getting it under control. Pardon me. So, but we do want to make sure that when you guys do travel with us and with Greta's help, that you guys have that confidence and that peace of mind. So we have tons of things available for you to make sure that you feel safe, and your health is our top priority. So when it comes to being in destination, you're always going to have support from us because our team is actually located in Dublin. So they are in the destination to help you. If you're on the guided, you're going to have a travel director and a wellness director. So they're going to be making sure that the motor coach is sanitized. If you guys are eating at hotels, it's not going to be buffets or anything like that. You guys are going to be going to restaurants, doing the a la carte, and making sure that everything is sanitized and people are doing socially distanced. So if you are on a motor coach, not everyone's going to be piled in. We're doing a little bit smaller groups this year, as well as whoever you're traveling with will be in your bubble. We're not going to be moving people around too much. As well as our private chauffeurs and our local hosts, we're making sure that no matter where we're bringing you, that they're living up to the guidelines that the government has set up, because we're always making sure that we are going by the guidelines of who the World Health Organization or local authorities. So we're really trying to keep ahead of it. And you're always going to have that support on team. And if anyone did get sick, you do have someone there to tell you, okay, this is what we're going to do, and kind of give you that peace of mind that you're not just traveling on your own. So that kind of goes into the distancing and hygiene protocols. Anything that's frequently touched, the surfaces on our coach or at the hotels, they're going to be cleaned several times, multiple times a day. We work with Hertz when it comes to rental cars. I think that's a name that we all know and trust here in the USA. So they're making sure that their cars have been sanitized, even the keys themselves. So that's really great. And again, we're going to do that on board social distancing if you are doing guided vacations. But if we are doing business with them, we are making sure that they are vetted to meet our stringent standards so you can have that peace of mind. And of course, if anything happens, we are there with you 24/7, whether you are independent or with a guided vacation. And if anything happens as far as regulations or changes in the status, we are always trying to keep in touch with our travel agents as well as our guests. So again, you're never traveling alone. And I will say, for a guided vacation, they pivot so well. You wouldn't even know. I was actually in Europe on a guided vacation, and right as COVID hit and one of the parks shut down. And instead, our travel director, she's like, hey, we're going to be missing this today, but I have all of this other stuff lined up for you. So we went to a winery. We had, lunch by the ocean, and it was absolutely amazing. And I was so happy to not be traveling on my own at that time. So hopefully that gives you guys a little bit of a peace of mind that we are doing our best to make sure that your safety and your wellness is our top priority, and it'll give you confidence to go back out and travel once Ireland and Scotland open back up. And speaking of that, if you are feeling inspired and you are like, I'm so excited to go to Ireland, one, you have to contact Greta, your local travel agent, and talk about all these details. And if you do decide to book something sooner than later, we have some amazing offers right now. So this is our Black Friday, Cyber Monday that's actually going on to December 17th. So if you book your vacation by December 17th, we've been talking about castle stays or a manor, and you get a free night in a castle. I think that is an amazing deal, bucket list item for free if you plan your trip to on 2021 or 2022 at this time. Another offer we have going on is a Europe air offer. So it's $300 off. So between $300 off for your air, free night in a castle, this really is the best time for you guys to be traveling right now. Well, when it opens, that is.
But it's an excellent time to book and have all that time to look forward to it.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And one thing I want to mention, and I've noticed this with almost all of my suppliers, and I'm sure it's true with Brendan too. I would expect pricing to be the best today that it's going to be moving forward. I think once things open up and people start being able to move around again, there's going to be demand is going to well outpace supply.
Exactly. I can't agree with you more. I mean, with these castles, they have very limited availability. So you can imagine once things fully reopen that everyone is so desperate to leave their little bubble and go travel. I know I am, and things are going to book up quickly. So, and one thing I did want to mention to you guys, if you were planning on booking your vacation soon, is we are very flexible at the moment. So with your deposit, if you book now and you change your mind in 30 days, you're going to get that deposit back. Or maybe past the 30 days, as things are progressing throughout the year and you have a payment on your trip, we will move it for free. So you will not incur any change penalties up to 30 days before you leave. So if you want to cash in on this fabulous deal, get it today. And if down the road you're feeling uncomfortable, you still have that flexibility to change your mind. We can move the destination or your itinerary or whatnot. So it really is flexible for you, and we're definitely keeping that in mind.
I think that's great. I think that's really, really important. And that's definitely been the name of the game for a lot of my clients this year has been flexibility and just having that ability to know that, okay, if I book this and then I'm uncomfortable, I have the ability to make some changes. I'm not locked in or losing everything that I've put into it. I think that's super important. So thank you very much for touching on that. So I'm checking the feed here. If you have a question for Amanda about Ireland or Scotland or Brendan vacations, now would be an awesome time to throw it in there in the comments. Because I haven't seen anything come through yet. Let me just take a quick peek at my other screen. I don't see anything coming through. Okay, I don't see any questions or comments coming through on the other screen either. So Amanda, thank you so much for joining us tonight. That was great.
Thank you for having me. It's really nice, and I'm just excited to be talking about travel. So I hope you guys feel inspired. And Greta, if you guys do have questions after this, because I know it will probably be on Facebook for a little while, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm your girl if you need anything.
All right. Thank you so much. Have a great week.
Thanks, guys.
All right, folks. Wow, that was awesome information. I love Amanda. She does such a great job with sharing information, and she's an awesome contact for me. So if I have a client with a specific question or something they really want to do, she's an awesome person for me to be able to reach out to. I love working with her. So yeah, if you have questions or you would like me to look up something, an itinerary, or you want more information about a specific type of travel with Brendan, definitely shoot me an email, shoot me a Facebook message, 16 different ways to get a hold of me. So, do your thing. So a couple quick housekeeping items before I jet here. Next week, be sure to join me for my conversation with Jeff Caesar from Rocky Mountaineer, which I realize some of you might not be familiar with. They do glass top trains in the Rocky Mountains. So you travel during the day in a glass top train, so you really get the benefit of all that amazing scenery, but you're not sleeping on a train at night. You're actually staying in some really, really nice hotels at night. There's some other activities, restaurants that you can visit, and then you're back on the train the next day to really take in that amazing Rocky Mountain scenery. So Jeff's going to talk to us about that. Typically, their train itineraries include Canada, but I'm sure we're all aware that right now Canada has sort of put the kibosh on travel. So they've actually tweaked one of their itineraries so that it is US based. So you can still do Rocky Mountaineer, you just do it in the US. So I'm really super excited for Jeff to tell us about that. The next week on December 16th, I'll be hosting Peter from American Queen Steamboat Company. He'll introduce us to river cruising in the United States and life aboard their classic paddle wheelers. If you've done river cruising or looked into river cruising, you've probably looked at it in Europe, but some of us don't necessarily realize that river cruising is really becoming a thing in the US. And the paddle wheelers are unique here. You're not going to find that doing rivers in Europe. That's only a US thing. So that's pretty exciting. So I can't wait to do those with you. And then Friday afternoon at 5 o'clock, I've started doing a global cocktail hour here on the Savvy Travel Design Facebook page. So if you'd like to pop in for that, I've got the ingredients posted on the Facebook page, but I believe this week we need Campari, gin, sweet red vermouth, and orange peel. And if you can guess what we're making, you can throw it in the comments. But that'll be at 5 o'clock on the Savvy Travel Design Facebook page. So let me drop this week's travel tip with you, and then I'm going to bounce. Remember that in many countries, traffic flows in the opposite direction that it does in the USA. So always check both ways very carefully before stepping out, just like Mom told you. All right, folks, so I'll see you next week for Rocky Mountaineer. And if you missed part of the show tonight, no worries. The replay will be available right here on the Savvy Travel Design Facebook page and the Savvy Travel Design YouTube channel. There will also be a YouTube link at fabfuntrips.com, and very soon there will be a podcast link in case you'd rather listen than watch. Until next time, this is Fabulously Fun Trips, and I'm Greta Smith with Savvy Travel Design, wishing you love, light, and vacation daydreams.